Mario Kart World was extremely exciting to me, and I still stand by all the positive things I've said about its design in the past. But once I finally got my hands on the game, I very quickly ran out of motivation to actually play it. I do think the open world is impressive and it looks great and the character models and animations are all fantastic, but Nintendo lost their way and let a gimmick consume the genre's core mechanics in a way that fundamentally doesn't work. Especially after the online update that forced everyone to play on straight lines almost all the time, it became clear just how out of touch Nintendo's design philosophy had become with this empty game. Then Sonic Racing CrossWorlds came out and got me hooked immediately. It completely blows Mario Kart World out of the water, and to make a point about just how drastic the gap between them is, I'm not even really going to talk about the situation with lap-type courses, as Nintendo call them. They are undeniably a big part of what makes CrossWorlds more fun, but it's low-hanging fruit at this point. You already know the situation, and it's been talked about in depth plenty of times already. Mario Kart does have actual tracks, but Nintendo don't want you to play them. It's extremely frustrating, but even if Nintendo fixes this core issue, which I doubt they will, here's why Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is still the better game for so many reasons.
Pit against Sonic's understudy? I thought this might be challenging.
Don't dismiss me out of hand. I've been trained by the best, and I'll use it all to beat you.
I think what got me so into CrossWorlds was how surprisingly good the single player content is. In World, I did the GPs once and then hopped online knowing I'd probably only be doing that going forwards. Carts are passively earned in a randomized order, and characters and costumes are primarily just RNG, unless you want to do some boring grinding, which I actually did for some reason. There's simply no reason to care about single player. But Sonic always gives you a goal to work towards. You're always earning Donpa tickets you can use to buy things, on top of other unlocks from faster speeds to extra car parts, costumes, music, and more. The GP mode has red star rings to collect in every stage, not only giving you an extra goal, but teaching you alternate routes and useful shortcuts along the way. And on top of that is the fantastic rival system. While Mario Kart does have the classic version of this system where one CPU will be slightly better than the rest, wow, it's archaic compared to CrossWorlds, where you can choose your rival and their difficulty level with extra rewards for harder rivals, and each character combination will grant you unique dialogues. Characters even talk to each other during races, whether that's rivals mocking each other, friends interacting, or your character reacting to the map. And all of these serve to highlight their unique personalities. Now I know Nintendo can't do this to quite the same extent since there are a lot of characters that don't actually speak, but it makes bringing everyone from the franchise together feel a little pointless when they don't interact in any meaningful way. Maybe even basic sound effects paired with a text box would be enough if voices aren't an option.
Nice shot.
Thank you, Luigi.
So long, Bowser.
Mario Kart has the better models and animations by a mile, there's no denying that, and yet CrossWorlds has managed to make its characters so much more engaging and endearing, despite the fact this is the franchise I'm personally less familiar with. Plus, once you beat all the rivals, you even unlock Super Sonic, who's a broken, offline-only character with maxed out stats. Again, with this game actually giving you things to do and rewards for doing them. It doesn't matter what mode, you're always gaining things and working towards a goal. The better character roster is pretty debatable, I think. The few skins currently in CrossWorld are very basic, so Mario Kart wins there, but at least the menu isn't a complete mess. I don't think the current trend of crossover franchises is inherently better or worse, but it does have A, Hatsune Miku, and B, the fact I'm far more interested in Sonic's roster because I know more is coming, both paid and free content. Is it scummy to promote paid DLC for your already expensive game before it's even released? Probably, yeah, but if I'm being honest, it does make this game's content more interesting to talk about. I'm excited for the Minecraft and SpongeBob stages, and I'm interested to see who the rest of the free characters will end up being, while the best we can get with Mario Kart speculation is like, maybe we'll get Diddy Kong in the future, who knows. The lack of voice acting on DLC characters is pretty bad though, I could really go either way on this one. The time trials though, way better in CrossWorlds. In Mario Kart, I never touch time trials, I just don't care, they seem a bit pointless. If you really want to beat all the staff ghosts, or aim for a personal time, or even go for a world record, sure, I think that's awesome, but I'd rather just spend my time playing the standard races. However, in CrossWorlds, time trials have ranks. This makes aiming for a solid time less abstract as a starting point. There's a clear goal to achieve here, which will absolutely push you to fully learn the course if you want the S rank. On top of that, these stages have boost items that you actually pick up, which are spread out to encourage taking different routes throughout the race. On lap 3, a Royal Wisp with a much bigger boost will spawn in, so you'll probably want to grab it for the fastest time, or maybe there's a route you've learned that's so much faster you can justify not getting it. There's so much experimentation here, and it teaches you a ton about the tracks you can take into your standard races. I'm not sure how popular this system will be with people who love standard time trials, but personally I love it and I found it super engaging and fun. And even if that's not your thing, the game gives you a reason to at least try it out, with music to unlock for every few tracks that you can A rank. This music system is amazing, by the way, and not something I would ever expect from Nintendo with the restrictive way they view game design. Basically, the music you unlock goes into the jukebox, which you can listen to at any time. What makes it so special though is the fact you can choose songs you like and have them played during the races, with different selections for lap 1, 2, and 3. You can use these preset albums if you like, or add songs to your favorites to make a custom selection. I have it set to play the default music for lap 1 and 2, but then the final lap will always play the theme from the original Sonic Riders. I genuinely really love this. It's such a fun way to end the race. Of course, Mario Kart World also has a great soundtrack that probably is better overall, but CrossWorlds gives the player options that are simply more fun. And this extends across the game. You've got UI customization and audio levels, things Nintendo have decided they will always know better than the person playing. There's also plenty of different ways to customize your gameplay with the gadgets, and the kart customization is great too. I was actually glad Mario Kart World returns to pre-made karts after MK7 and 8's pretty pointless customization system that barely even changes how the karts look. However, in CrossWorlds, it's actually justified, with a huge amount of options that really let you make a unique kart that can be as cool or cute or just plain terrible as you desire. There's so many options with colors and textures and decals and horns. The auras I personally don't care for, but the horns are awesome.
Hello.
And if you don't care, the default kart combos are obvious and easy to put together with pre-made color palettes for each character. Kind of makes the stickers in World look like a complete joke, which is especially bad when you consider these are basically the only thing to earn in this game. Seriously, has anyone ever cared to collect all of these? Not even the game wants you to, really. All you have is some of an unspecified amount of a pointless thing, so you can decorate your cart in a way you can barely even see. That's not good game design. Gamers like lists of things to check off and do, which CrossWorlds offers so much of, and I want all of it, partially because there's an actual achievement system in place here. Okay, so this might seem a little off topic, and it is more of a universal Nintendo issue than just a Mario Kart problem, but hear me out. On any system except the Switch, CrossWorlds doesn't only reward you with in-game items, but other people can actually see what you've achieved. It's bragging rights you can show off, which feels kinda good even if you know no one actually cares that much. If nothing else, it's at least a list of things to check off, which is always satisfying. Mario Kart has no such thing, whether that be in-game or on a system level, and either way it's Nintendo's fault. They're more than happy to match or even surpass the rest of the industry when it comes to prices and subscription services and DLC, so why shouldn't we expect industry standard features? There's no way to show off your achievements with rare skins or title cards. I would take some stars next to my name to show I've done all the GPs. Again, no one gives a damn about your stickers. But let's very quickly cover why I also think the gameplay of Sonic CrossWorlds is better in many ways, although it's not quite as much of a slam dunk. Mario Kart World does contain an extremely fun and polished game, even if Nintendo don't want you to play it most of the time. The way karts react to the environment can seem a bit janky in Sonic. I like how Mario Kart gives you a bit more control when you're not drifting, and the parkour system is unlike anything we've ever seen before. I love it. Overall, I'd say Sonic is more fair if you play well, but also more punishing if you play wrong. There's rings all over the place, so they're easier to stock up on than coins, but even touch a wall and you'll start bleeding them all over the place. This applies to items too, mostly because the back and forth of offense and defense is put into the player's hands more. The defensive game in Mario Kart often boils down to holding a shell or banana behind you for as long as possible, which you don't even need to press a button for anymore, it's just automated. In response to defense being so easy, offense is annoying and constantly bypasses your defense, especially shock, which is unreactable and practically turns every race into a game of getting a shock dodge item and then guessing when it's going to be. In Mario Kart 8, you could at least see all the the items nearby racers were holding and play based on that. But in World you can only see some of them, and getting randomly hit by an unreactable super horn when you're already behind will never be fun. I don't understand why they made this change. You can't hold items behind you in CrossWorlds, you need to see what's coming at you and respond appropriately with a well-timed move. But because defense requires actual thought, everything is reactable. The game even lets you know if someone is targeting you with a lock-on item before they fired, so you can be on alert. Even in top positions, it's not too hard to get an item that can defend from the most powerful attacks as long as you play your cards right, and you can even increase these chances with the gadget system if you want, but mess up and it's going to slow you down a lot. The items themselves are a lot of fun too. I'm always excited when I get the Laser Wisp because you can do some seriously crazy stuff with that thing. By comparison, World's new items are super lame. I don't think anyone has ever been excited for a blue fire flower or a coin block. And I hate the boomerang in this game. In Mario Kart 8, you used to be able to use other items between throws, which I thought added a lot of strategy, but now it hogs your item box for ages when I just want to use my fucking mushroom. And then other times it's completely broken and hits people for free, even if they're defending, and again, it's completely unreactable. Don't get me wrong, items can be fun and frustrating in both games, but I think Sonic's approach is better overall. And I don't want to hear any comments about this is just how Mario Kart is, because Double Dash already did a lot of these things better in the past. I also prefer the drifting and trick systems. It simply adds more skill to allow for extended drifts, and while both games let you do multiple tricks, which is a lot of fun, in World only one will add to your boost, whereas in CrossWorlds up to 3 will make you faster. It just rewards the player for actually doing more. And as for the tracks themselves, there is so much good stuff here. 24 main tracks and 15 crossworlds that get mixed and matched every race, with the final lap of each track being at least slightly different and sometimes almost a completely different course. The second lap of each race can be any crossworld or any main track, so there's 38 different possibilities and 39 stages in time trials where you can play 3 laps of each track and 3 laps of each crossworld. By comparison, Mario Kart World has 32 tracks in Grand Prix mode, and while many of these are fantastic, one of these is just a repeated course backwards, 2 of them are a circle, and one of them is Mario Kart World's Desert Hills. While my favorite tracks from World are better than just about any other racing game, Sonic simply has more tracks without the duds, padded content, and straight lines. So listen, I am a big Mario Kart fan, I am a big Nintendo fan, and I think they put out some of the highest quality games you can buy. What you get in Mario Kart World looks and sounds phenomenal, and it's polished to a T, probably more than anything Sega have ever put out. CrossWorlds is more rough around the edges, but delivers on content and being fun, rather than an extremely polished nothing with very little interest in player engagement or feedback. Ultimately, both games have a lot to love and plenty to criticize, but am I going to boot up a restrictive game with lacking content and no meaningful progression for a low chance I might be able to play the game how I want and have fun, especially when I have to pay to play online? Once my NSO runs out, I have no reason to come back when I could just play CrossWorlds on Steam anytime. And if you think that's an unfair comparison, well, that's Nintendo's decision at the end of the day. It's their game and their console. So this was something a bit different from just analyzing visuals, which is definitely more my specialty, but I just can't stop thinking about how well CrossWorlds highlights all the problems with Mario Kart World, and it's really frustrating because I wish I could love this game more. Anyway, stick around for more videos. I got more Mario Kart stuff in the works, as well as other things, but that's about it. Bye!